Well, hey guys, I have an unpopular, possibly controversial opinion that I came to the realization I hold over the past few weeks after some self-reflection, and that is, I don't believe that skincare is necessarily intended to be fun. You hear it repeated all the time. Skincare is supposed to be enjoyable, it's a form of self-care, it's supposed to be relaxing. I disagree. I hear it repeated over and over again. And in fact, I even caught myself saying it in a recent video. Hey, skincare is meant to be enjoyable. But I don't necessarily think that it is for all people. In my opinion, skincare isn't necessarily just a thing that you do for fun. It is actually a form of healthcare. Cleansing is basic hygiene. And when we're talking about skincare products, sunscreen is intended to protect you from the damaging effects of ultraviolet radiation that not only lead to the visible signs of skin aging, but put you at risk for skin cancers. So I don't view these things necessarily as pleasurable or things that you should pursue for leisure. I think they are a part of healthcare. Now, of course, there's a whole community of people on the internet who love skincare products. And that is their hobby. They love going and shopping for skincare. They love having their skincare routine, doing their masks, toners. It is a form of self-care for those people. It is a form of relaxation. But the reality is that's not the case for everybody. A lot of people, a lot of you guys who watch my channel, I don't actually think you really enjoy skincare that much. You view it as just wanting to take good care of your skin for health purposes. You're not necessarily interested in, changing things up all of the time. You're not necessarily interested in the latest, greatest product. Or maybe you have a skin condition and you needed some help choosing products that wouldn't aggravate that condition. And once you find those, well, you're happy to move on with life and never look back again. And I do think there is a large segment of the population who does not give a flying rat's asbestos about skincare. So to make the statement that skincare is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be relaxing, sure, it can be, but I don't think that that's the case for everybody. I think many people out there view skincare as healthcare similar to brushing your teeth. There's not a oral hygiene community out there. Maybe there is. If so, let me know, because I personally derive a lot of pleasure from brushing and flossing my teeth, and I love all different kinds of dental floss, whatever. I would be all up in that community if it existed, but most people, they don't really view brushing their teeth necessarily as like this hobby form of leisure. It's just something they do out of habit, and they recognize the value of it for the health of their gums, for not getting cavities, and for not having bad breath. That's kind of an immediate gratification aspect of brushing your teeth. And it's just a habit. Most people are not thinking about their oral care to the level of detail that the internet has become hyper-focused on skincare and the right products and the right ingredients. I would say for a lot of people out there, skincare is not a hobby, it's not a form of leisure, it's just a basic necessity. It's a form of hygiene and healthcare, especially when we're talking about sunscreen. And I think those people, when they come into the skincare space online, seeking out information about what's a good sunscreen, what ingredients, or if any, should I be avoiding, I think it can be very overwhelming and frankly a bit alienating to come into this space and not necessarily derive the joy and pleasure. I really think it's marketing that has perpetuated this idea that skincare is supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. But in reality, for a lot of people, I would say skincare is not only not relaxing, it can actually be a source of distress. A lot of people have sensitive skin or rosacea, and many skincare products elicit a very uncomfortable sensation. And that is something that there is a large group of people seeking out information about skincare online who have very sensitive skin. And skincare products can be a source of discomfort, distress, and they're not relaxing. And so I think for those folks in particular, the skincare space can be oftentimes a little bit alienating when you don't feel like you can say, does this have this in it? Does this have that in it? Without being made to feel like you are like in some kind of camp of fear-mongering ingredients. You guys know I do not advocate the clean beauty mentality of fearing this ingredient, fearing that ingredient, whatever. But I never fall fault anybody who comments in my comments section or asks me a question about certain skincare ingredients, because I think genuinely most people just want to keep their skin healthy and they don't want to put anything on their skin that might irritate it or cause these symptoms that they may have experienced in the past. You know, as a child growing up with eczema, I know firsthand how uncomfortable skincare products can feel. The burning and stinging sensation of moisturizers, it is a miserable sensation. So I think if you've never experienced that before, to you and your world, you may think, well, of course, skincare is this relaxing thing. But if you've had bad experiences with things coming in contact with your skin, moisturizers, cleansers, it really can almost make you very nervous to try out a new product or to, try things out, because firsthand that a lot of things are just gonna cause problems for you. I don't think skincare is a form of self-care. I think it is a form of healthcare, basic hygiene, cleansing to remove dirt, possibly pollutants. We know that people who live in urban areas with a lot of pollution, people in those areas, they tend to have more stubborn acne in comparison to people who don't live in highly polluted areas. So cleansing, we have come to learn, is even more an important aspect of acne control. Not only that, but for removing oil. So, acne, it's a disease. So this is an important part of managing that condition, is basic cleansing. Of course, everybody needs to cleanse their skin to remove dirt, oil, and debris. It is a need. A lot of people live in a very, very dry climate. You spend a lot of your time, maybe even your occupation, is outdoors. You're exposed to the elements, cold winter winds, harsh sun, drying climates, dirt, all sorts of things. You're basically coming, a lot of times people like that, they're coming to the skincare space seeking out products to help with those exposures, but not necessarily even because they want this to be a hobby or a source of pleasure. They're just basically looking to keep their skin healthy and move on with their lives. I think a lot of people exist out there like that, and they're just, passing through the skincare space online. And I think it can be very almost alienating for those folks to be hearing, well, skincare is a form of self-care and it's supposed to be pleasurable, and it's just not going to be a source of pleasure for all people, and that is okay. I don't believe that the intention of skincare is pleasure. I think it is a form of healthcare. Now, of course, there are tons of products out there on the market that claim all sorts of things like, helping to ward off the signs of aging, and none of them are really, strictly rooted in evidence necessarily, or necessary by any means for human health. Those are cosmetics, and skincare, it's in this kind of nebulous space where in reality it's cosmetics and they're not necessarily a necessity. But a basic skincare routine is actually very important for the health of your skin. And the components of that will vary with age, from person to person. And as the skincare market increasingly becomes more and more and more saturated, I think that the idea of skincare as healthcare, I think it just gets lost in the noise because there are so many superfluous components these days that are not necessary. So basic skincare, it is a form of healthcare. You're taking care of your largest organ system, and your skin, it is exposed to a lot of things. It keeps you protected from the outside world. You can be pursuing skincare for healthcare reasons, just because you're interested in keeping your skin healthy. You're not necessarily interested in these elaborate routines. You don't view it as a form of relaxation. You're kind of in and out, just like brushing your teeth every morning, probably. And for that reason, I think it is a bit of an overstatement to say that skincare is supposed to be relaxing. Again, going back to those people who have things like rosacea, eczema, skincare can actually be very uncomfortable. And so, we never want products to be that way. So, the hope in some of the videos that I make is to help those individuals navigate the skincare aisle to choose products that are least likely to put them in the house of pain. I do think skincare online has gotten to a point where it has become a bit of a echo chamber type community. I made a video on this a while ago. Anytime you have a community online, you have to be, careful. It becomes an echo chamber. And I don't think that everybody on the internet views skincare as a form of pleasure or as a leisure activity. They're merely pursuing it for health reasons, to keep their skin healthy. And yes, skincare products can help to keep your skin healthy. Sunscreen for sure, and basic cleansing is basic hygiene. The other reason why I feel as though this whole idea that skincare is supposed to be pleasurable and a form of self-care, I think it has become intertwined with the corporatization of self-care, and that, you know, the idea that we can make people feel as though they need all of these things as a form of caring for themselves, that they need to spend a lot of money, that they need to have these products, that they need this and that and the other. I really just think that it dilutes out the value of a basic skincare routine. Why I'm making this video is I know a lot of you guys watch my channel. You're probably not even actually watching this video, because I have a lot of people who view my content. They come here seeking skincare recommendations, and once they find what they are looking for, they're not interested in skincare. They either leave, or maybe you guys watch my vlogs on the weekend and you like those. But a lot of people pass through, and that's great. Like, my hope is to help people find good skincare products that help them and that they get along well with, and a lot of people just end up moving on. So I don't believe that skincare is necessarily a pleasurable activity for everybody. I think it is simply just something that people are looking to get in the habit of to keep their skin healthy. Personally, I kind of view skincare in the same bucket as I view transportation and cars. I am not a car person, you guys. I'm not. I do not care about cars, but some people are passionate about cars. That's their hobby. They collect cars. You know, they're interested in all of these fancy luxury vehicles. That I'm not interested in whatsoever. Start talking to me about a car and I fall asleep. But I live in a city where we don't have the most reliable public transportation system. I need a car to get around. My very first video on YouTube was me buying my car. I have not bought another car since then. I just am not into cars, but I need one. So when I was shopping for a car, I wanted to know what was gonna be the best value, what was gonna be a safe car. I did care a lot about the components of the car, so as to make a rational purchasing decision. But I'm not a car enthusiast, and I have never, you know, given a thought thereafter about, you know, what Ferrari is going to release next year. I don't drive a Ferrari, by the way, but I'm not following the car market per se, and driving in Houston is definitely not a form of self-care. If you've ever driven here, it's intense. But getting back to it, you know, skincare is kind of the same thing. It is a necessity for keeping your skin healthy, and you know, sunscreen is necessary. Cleansing, basic hygiene, and moisturizers are important for many people out there with dry skin conditions. And as we get wiser, the skin is more prone to getting dry, irritated. That can cause skin problems for sure. So this basic skincare, it is a form of healthcare, hygiene, protection from UV rays, etc. So, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, we all need transportation, but we're not all gonna be interested in having a fleet of luxury vehicles. I think skincare is very much the same way. You know, within the skincare market, skincare products, they're actually really cost prohibitive for many people out there. Just like, you know, a lot of cars are cost prohibitive for many people out there. While we all need transportation, you have to, you know, realize that not everybody is going to be able to afford an SUV or a brand new car. Transportation is a necessity for daily life for most people. Depending on where you live, you may not even have access to good public transportation. So it becomes a need. And in order to get to work so that you can pay your bills, so that you can buy food to put on the table, all of those things, transportation is actually a need. It is not a hobby for a lot of people. Sure, it becomes a hobby for some people, but that is not the point of automobiles necessarily, is, you know, for pleasure. They are, you know, they're a need. So for people who are struggling financially, but also having skin problems or wanting to take good care of their skin, they step into this online space. I do think that it can start to feel like, well, gosh, I'm never going to be able to afford the Tatcha Luminous whatever. I'm not going to be able to afford this, that, and the other. I'm just, I've got dry skin. Is that what there is out there? And the idea, you'll find certain people vilifying Vaseline, which is like $1, works perfectly well, is, a gold standard moisturizing product, to be honest. And so I feel as though, vilifying basic skincare over the luxury stuff, or making people feel bad because, that's really what they're interested in, solely for taking care of the health of their skin. I really do think it is a bit elitist and ignores the fact that financially it's cost prohibitive for a lot of people. And of course, serums and toners and all of these things, they're not necessary, but it does kind of create this, I don't know, people may feel like they're not good enough if they don't have certain things, and none of this is necessary, but basic skincare is a form of healthcare. It is something that people need to access for hygiene and for protecting their skin from the sun. And I do think a lot of people get upset with me in particular for pointing out ingredients that can be irritating to the skin, especially people who love skincare and it's their hobby and their passion. I think they're like, well, if it doesn't cause problems for me, then what's the big deal? But they're missing the point that there is a large population of people out there who really do not care about skincare from the perspective of a hobby or a leisure activity. They're really just seeking out products that are not going to aggravate their skin so they can move on with their lives. People who have rosacea, they need help finding a sunscreen. That is an essential part, actually, of rosacea care. People who have melasma, they are just looking for what can I do to help my skin? Well, avoiding these ingredients that can cause irritation, it's important to point those things out, because that's the kind of information that those people are looking for. They're not necessarily looking for an experience. They're looking for products that will protect their skin from the sun, namely in the case of melasma or rosacea, without aggravating their skin condition. I think people getting upset about pointing out ingredients that can be irritating to the skin, I think it really misses the point that there is a larger group of people out there seeking skincare information who are not necessarily interested in skincare products from this leisure hobby perspective, but rather as a form of healthcare in a sense. And yes, of course, skincare products, they're cosmetics. It becomes a very blurred line because there are so many products out there that are absolutely not necessary and are not healthcare products, they're cosmetics. But things like sunscreens and cleansers, this is basic skin care, and caring for your largest organ, it is not necessarily a hobby per se or a cosmetic. It really is necessary for keeping your skin healthy, to take care of it. It doesn't have to be elaborate, it doesn't have to be a ton of things, and it can change in certain times of your life. With certain, times of the season, you may find that you're prone to breakouts from sweat, what are good ingredients. People are coming here looking for that kind of information. They're not always necessarily coming here looking to get into the hobby of skincare. Skincare marketing would have you believe that you've got to be changing up your skincare products all the time, that that everybody out there gets bored with their skincare routine. I don't think that's true at all. For example, I think the majority of people out there do wash their face. Do they all view it as a form of pleasure? No. Do they get bored of their cleanser? No. I don't think that skincare is just this leisure activity that is supposed to be pleasurable. I think for a lot of people it is, they're looking more for efficiency. Hence the popularity years ago of the 3-in-1 face wash, body wash, hair wash products that a lot of people, kind of vilify. But in reality, there really wasn't necessarily anything wrong with those products. And so what I'm getting at is I don't believe that the intent of skincare is for pleasure. I think for a lot of people, it is just a form of taking care of their largest organ. And once they find the products, they move on. It's not a hobby for everybody. I think that's really important to remember when you're watching skincare reviews. If you are a skincare enthusiast, a skincare hobbyist, you're watching reviews, people pointing out ingredients that can cause irritation. I don't understand why people get upset by that, because some people are, have certain skin issues. They're seeking out that information from the product. is there something in this that can cause irritation? Of course, what causes irritation for one person may not cause irritation for another, but I think being knowledgeable about common ingredients that are established as common contact allergens, I think it's very helpful. For a lot of people out there who are not interested in skincare as a hobby, they're not really that excited about, some intricate package of a cream. They just, want to know, like, is this going to help my dry skin? Sure, it'll help your dry skin, but it's $80. And, this $3 moisturizer also will help your dry skin. And, yeah, the package isn't as pretty, whatever, but it does the same thing. And for people especially who have skin issues or who just, are looking to find a product and move on, I think that kind of information is helpful. And the idea that, like, you should be buying the more luxury things or the more, experiential things, I think it's kind of silly. If you enjoy those things, that's not silly. If you enjoy skincare and putting on products and, you get a lot of joy and pleasure, I am not here to rain on that parade. But just bear in mind that a lot of people out there are coming to my content, not necessarily looking for that. So when I point things out, it's not meant to hurt your feelings if you like a certain product that I say, this isn't necessary. It's merely meant to help those other people out to choose something that is going to be more efficient, more cost effective. Sure, a lot of people love skincare and it's their hobby, but a lot of people don't, and they still need it. They're still looking for information to make that purchase. It's like buying a car. You're either buying it for the purpose of just basic transportation, you're looking for something that fits your budget and your needs, or you are one of those people that has a fleet of Ferraris. Let me know in the comments, do you view skincare as, a source of pleasure, enjoyment? Do you get excited about new product launches? Or are you somebody who really just has a skincare routine out of habit to take care of your skin, and you could care less about skincare products and you don't change things up? Let me know, because I think there are a lot of you in both camps out there. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.